Welcome, students, to the last session of leadership. In this session, we are going to have a look at the leadership theories. I want to tell you one thing here that there are a number of theories of leadership. Time is a constraint. Otherwise, we would have taken into consideration all the theories. But we're trying to take into consideration the most important and the popular theories of leadership. Leadership theory, students, is an assumption about distinguishing characteristics of a particular kind of leader. Theories focus on determining specific qualities such as skill levels that separate a leader from a follower. Students, you can have a look at the long list of the theories which are used in different organizations for the purpose of governing the organizations. Leaders are different. No single theory is applicable specifically for every organization. It all depends upon the size, location, and the style of leader, that which kind of theory will be applicable. Again, I just tell you that I wish I could have taken up all the theories, but unfortunately, I will not be taking up all, but only the relevant will be taken up. Great man theory, students, first of all. This theory was popularized in 1840 by Scottish writer Thomas Carlyle. According to this theory, we find one thing here. The name of the theory is itself Great Man theory, which indicates itself that great leaders are simply born with necessary internal characteristics such as charisma, confidence, intelligence, and social skills that make them natural born leaders. Students, the great man term was used because at the time leadership was thought of primarily a male quality, especially in terms of military leadership. That's why the term man has been used. Great man theories assume that the capacity for leadership is inherent. The great leaders are born, not made, mind you. These theories often portray great leaders as heroic, mythic, and destined to rise leadership when needed. For example, we can name here Mahatma Gandhi, Lincoln, Napoleon. Trait theories of leadership. Students, the trait theories of leadership consists of the assumptions that people inherit certain qualities and traits that make them better suited to leadership. Trait theories are often identified as the personality or behavior characteristics by the leaders. And you can say that the traits like ambition and energy, desire to lead, honesty or integrity, self confidence, intelligence, high self motivating, job related knowledge. I mean, these are the things which are considered or potentially to be linked as to the great leaders. The traits means the specific leadership traits that they possess. Students, next is the category of the behavioral theories. Behavioral theories are the theories of leadership which are based upon the belief that the great leaders are made, not born. Again, consider it as flip side of the great man theory. I think there should not be any kind of confusion between the great man theories and the behavioral theories. Rooted in behaviorism, the leadership theory focuses on the actions of the leader, not on the mental qualities or the internal states of the leader. According to this theory, student people can learn to become leaders through teaching and observations. Now I will tell you what behavioral theories are to be discussed here. Students, first of all, we discuss here the role theory. Role theory, student, is about the Role expectation of a leader can vary from a specific to a broad idea within which the leader can define their own style. When role expectations are low or mixed, then this may also lead to role conflict. Students, in this role theory of leader, people form expectations about the roles that they and others will play in the organization. And people define for themselves and others based on social learning and reading in the organizations. And people form expectations about the roles that they and others will play in the organization. Students, the next one is the managerial grid. You look at this grid here and you find that the managerial grid model was formed in the year 1964, and it was considered as a style of leadership which was developed by Robert R. Black and Jan Mountain. This model originally identified 5 different styles based on the based on the concern for people and the concern for the production. A graphical representation, students, in the right side of this slide shows dimensional view of the leadership style, where we find that in the middle of the road management, you find that there is a country club management, there is a team management, there is improvised management, there is authority compliance relationship, means the concern for results and concerns for people. Both are important in this case. Students, the next category of theories is the situational theories. Situational theories propose their leaders that they choose the best course of action based upon their situational variables. Students, different styles of leadership may be more appropriate for certain type of decision making. For example, in a situation where the leader is the most knowledgeable and experienced member of the group, an authoritarian style might be most appropriate. Depending upon the situation, one has to act. This is called situational theory of leadership. In other instances, where group members are skilled experts, a democratic style would be more effective. The students, situational theories of leadership, which we are going to take up now, are showing the way in which the leader and follower have to work. I would like to tell you about the experts Hersey and Blanchard. In the year 1999, actually this is the Hersey and Blanchard's approach, and in 1999 they suggested leaders should adopt their style to followers development style, that is the maturity, based on how reading and willing the follower is to perform required tasks, that is the competence and motivation. Students, based on the followers' willingness and ability, Hersey, etc., et al. Developed 4 approaches of leadership. I want to tell you these 4 approaches of leadership, which consist of telling. Telling means followers are having low competence, low commitment, unable and unwilling to insecure, and the leaders are having high task focus, low relationship focus. Second is the selling. First one was telling, second is the selling. In case of selling, followers, if you look at the follower and you look at this leader, both, you can understand the point of difference. Some competence, variable commitment, and they are unable but willing or motivated. In this kind of situation, there is high task focus, high relationship focus on the part of the leader. Instead, participating is a kind of activity where the follower has high competence, variable commitment, and able but unwilling or insecure. And students, leader with low task focus, has high relationship focus. And one more thing is there, that is the delegating. It's when delegating is about the followers. It is about the high competence, high commitment, and able and willingness or the motivation on the part of the followers. And the leaders have here low task focus and low relationship focus. You can look at the Hersey and Blanchard's model, where you find the followers' readiness, willingness or unwillingness, their ability and their inability for the purpose of directive delegating, supportive. These are the leadership styles as per the Hersey and Blanchard's model. That is the directive or delegating, supportive or participative, selling or coaching, telling or directing. They have very clearly explained all these things, and in other kind of approaches you already seen, but it is the way in which the Hersey and Blanchard model has presented the followers' resilience. Students, next is the leader participation model. In case of leader participation model, we can talk about the Vroom and Yatton. I want to tell you here one thing, that the Vroom-Yatton model is a situational approach to group decision making that is designed specifically to help leaders to select the best approach to making decisions in organization. The Vroom and Yatton model is a situational leadership theory of industrial and organizational psychology, which was developed by Victor Vroom in collaboration with Philip Yelton, later with the Jago also. Students, the assumption of this theory is that decision acceptance increases commitment and effectiveness of the action, and participation increases decision acceptance. Students, the decision quality is the selection of the best alternative and is particularly important when there are many alternatives. It is a kind of important activity when there are serious implications for selecting or failing to select the best alternative. Students, decision acceptance is the degree to which a follower accepts a decision made by the leader. Focus lies on the decision acceptance when decision quality is more important. Students, about this theory, I want to tell you 5 different decision procedures. These are: 2 are autocratic, that is A1 and A2. 2 are consultative, that is C1, C2, and 1 is group based, that is G2. Let me tell you what these 5 different type of procedures are used in case of the Vroom and Yatton model. Students, as you look, A1 is about the leaders take known information and then decide alone. Mind you, every sentence is explaining its own meaning, and I will not be able to explain every point in details because of the paucity of time. Second thing, student, is the leaders get information from the followers and then decide alone. Again, feel the difference. Leaders take known information and then decide alone, and leaders get information from followers and then decide alone. No consultation as such. And third is the C1. In case of C1, we find number 1. C1 is that leaders share problems with followers individually, listens to the idea and then decide alone. C2, student, is about the situation where leaders share problems with followers as a group, listen to the ideas and then decide alone. In case of the G2, is a situation where the leaders share problems with the followers as a group and then seek or accept the consensus agreement. Students, in this way, you have seen that the Vroom and Yatton have given 5 different mechanisms, different ways of the decision process. Students, before we conclude, a few more lines are required about the situational factors that influence the methods in logical way. First of all, when the decision quality is important and the followers possess useful information, then A1 and A2 are not best method. In case of situation when the leader sees decision quality as important but followers do not, then G2 is appropriate. I already mentioned about A1, A2, C1, C2 and G1. Then students, when decision quality is important, when the problem is unstructured and the leader takes information, skills to make the decision, then G2 is the best. And students, lastly, when decision acceptance is important and followers are unlikely to accept autocratic decision, then A1 or A2 are appropriate for such kind of situations. Students, when the decision's acceptance is important but followers are likely to disagree with one another, then A1, A2 and C1 are appropriate because they do not give opportunity to differentiate. And also, when the decision quality is not important but decision acceptance is critical, then G2 is the best method. Students, when decision quality is important, all agree with this and the decision is not likely to result from an autocratic decision, then G2 is the best. Students, now you can see one thing, that the decision is to be taken in the light of the options available. Now we are going to discuss a very important theory of leadership called the path or the goal theory. It is popularly called as the path goal theory of leader effectiveness, or the path goal model also you can call. It is a leadership theory which was developed by Robert House in 1971 and revised in the year 1997. Students, you know what is there? As per the path goal theory, we find here, in particular, leaders clarify the path so subordinates know which way to go. The leader removes roadblocks that are stopping from going there. And also, the leader is increasing the rewards alone for the route. And students, what we find here is that this theory is the leader's job to assist followers and to ensure that the goals are compatible with the overall objectives of the group or the organization. Students, House and Michel in the year 1974 described 4 styles of leadership. We already discussed different kind of styles, but you see how different experts have given their versions, their views about the leadership. This House and Michel in 1974 described 4 styles of leadership. That is the supportive leadership, which is considered as the needs of the followers, showing concern for their families, showing concern for their welfare, and creating a friendly working environment in the organization. This includes increasing the followers' self-esteem and making the job more interesting. This approach is best when the work is stressful, boring, and hazardous. Students, if the work is stressful or hazardous, then the requirement, of course, will be seeking the support. Then, students, come the directive leadership. 4th style of leadership is the directive leadership, where the organization is telling followers what needs to be done and giving appropriate guidance along the way. This may be when the task is unstructured and complex, and follower is inexperienced, letter of the organization is that the followers sense of security and control, and hence it is appropriate to the situation. Students, the path goal theory is very important from the point of view of participative leadership. Here, consulting with followers and taking their ideas, their opinions into account when making decisions and taking particular actions is required. Students, we have already discussed this kind of leaderships earlier in other discussions, but philosophy is the same. But here I am telling you that this approach is best when the followers are expert and their advice is both needed and they expect to be able to give it. Students, one approach which assumes that there is one right way of achieving a goal, that the leader can see it and the follower cannot. This costs the leaders. But friends, the House and Michel in 1974 gave 4 styles of leadership. These are the supportive leadership, directive leadership, participative leadership, and achievement-oriented leadership. I want to tell you about these 4 styles of leadership given by the House and Michel. That the supportive leadership is about considering the need of the followers and showing concern for their welfare and creating a friendly work environment. And friends, this approach is best when the work is stressful, boring, and hazardous. Friends, telling followers what needs to be done and giving appropriate guidance along the way is called the directive leadership. Here we find increase in the follower's sense of security and control, and hence it is an appropriate situation. It is appropriate to the situation. That is the directive leadership. Participative leadership, students, is the best when the followers are expert and their advice is both needed and they expect to be able to give it to the subordinates. Students, the achievement-oriented leadership assumes there is a one right way of achieving a goal and that the leader can see it and the follower cannot. This costs the leader as the knowing person and follower is dependent. Students, now we look at the contingency theories of leadership. The contingency theories of leadership basically focus on particular variable related to the environment that might determine which particular style of leadership is best suited to this situation. According to this theory, friends, no leadership style is best in all the situations. See the contingency. Contingency means that it talks about the leader's style, their qualities, and different aspects of leadership. And students, here we are going to look at the Fiedler's contingency theory. The Fiedler's contingency model was created in the mid of 1960s by Fred Fiedler. He was a scientist who studied the personality and characteristics of leaders. Students, he talked about 2 factors: leadership style and the situational favorableness, which was called later situational control. As per the Fiedler's contingency theory, leadership style is very important. Students, Fiedler's contingency model says that the relationship oriented leaders usually view their skills positively, giving them a high scorer, and they are better able to make complex decisions in the organization. Situational favorableness is there, that is to be determined when you are particularly looking at a situation. Students, 3 things are here. To just have a quick look, we find that the leader-member relationship, which is about the degree of confidence, trust and respect subordinates have in their leader. Second one is the task structure, which is about the degree to which the job assignments are procedurized the extent to which the tasks are standardized, documented, and controlled. And students, leaders' position power is the amount of power he has to direct the group and provide reward or punishment to the subordinates. Students, the next theory is the cognitive resource theory. This cognitive resource theory was developed by Fred Fiedler and Joy Garcia in the year 1987 as a reconciliation of the Fiedler contingency model. We find that the theory focuses on the influence of the leader, intelligence and the experience on his or her reaction to the stress. Students, stress impacts the ability to make the decisions. As per this theory, we find that the cognitive capabilities, of course, are significant, but are not enough to predict leaders' success. And of course, one more thing I want to tell you, there is the intelligence and the experience and other cognitive resources which are important factor in leaders' success. Students, the essence of this theory lies in many things. In short, it is the stress. Stress is the enemy of the rationality, damaging leaders' ability to think logically and analytically. However, the leader's experience and intelligence can lessen the influence of the stress on his or her action. Students, intelligence is the main factor in low stress situations, whilst the experience counts for more during high stress moments. Well, students, the next is the transactional leadership theories. Transactional leadership theories are the exchange theories of leadership, in fact. We already discussed the transactional leadership style earlier and transformational leadership style earlier. I was just want to tell you that the transactional leaders are task and outcome oriented. They are the people who believe in work. They believe that the compliance should be done in the organization with the existing organizational goals and performance expectations through supervision, and there must be the use of the reward and punishment as per the transactional theories of leadership, and this was described by Max Weber in the year 1947. Students, the next theory is the leader-member exchange, LMX theory. LMX theory is the theory which was first emerged in the 1970s. This theory focuses on the relationship that develops between the managers and the members of their team, that is the managers and their subordinates as a team. The theory very clearly states all kinds of relationships between the managers and the subordinates and go through three stages, and these three stages are the role taking, role making and routinization. I quickly tell you what is meant by role taking, role making and routinization. Students, role taking is something which is about it occurs, in fact, you can say, when the team members first join the group. Managers use this time to assess new members' skills and abilities. This is called role taking. Role making is another kind of effort where the new team members begin to work on projects and tasks as a part of the team. That is role making. Here, students, in group and out group, two things are there to understand. In case of in group, if the team members prove themselves loyal, trustworthy and skilled, they are put into the in group. This group is made up of the team members that are the people in whom the manager trusts most. Second one is the out group. The out group, students, is a situation in which if the team members betray the trust of the manager, mind you, or they prove that they are unmotivated or incompetent, then they are put into out group. These things practically are applied in the organizations. Out group members tend to have less access to the manager and often don't receive opportunities for the growth or any kind of advancement in the organization. The third one is the routinization. This is the last phase, the routines between the team members and their managers. You can see how the routes are made. How we talk about the formal relationship, how the trust, how the personal compatibility, subordinate competence, and the extroverted personalities are treated in organization. And you can find here the in-group and out-group. Next theory, students, which we can take up in a quick way is the Boehm's transformational leadership theory. Students, we already talked about the transformational style of leadership. It was developed by James MacGregor Boehme in the year 1978. He defines the transformational leadership as a process where leaders and followers engage in mutual process of raising one another to higher level of morality and motivation. That's what we have seen already. Using social and spiritual values as a motivational lever in this very powerful as both hard to deny in this kind of situation. Students, one thing I want to tell you. The transformation leaders raise the bar by appealing to higher ideas and values of the followers. And in doing so, they may make a model and they use charismatic models to attract people to the values and to the leaders. Students, Kuhn's and Posner's leadership participation inventory is also a kind of theory that we can quickly have a look at. It was developed by James Cousy and Barry Posner in 1987. On the one, or you can find that the major characteristics of the leaders were in their experience of being led by others. This study was conducted over 20 years and they asked this of 75,000 people. It was a kind of participation inventory style given by them based on a survey which was published by them in the book. And students, the results of their study, which I want to show you, which are very important, which have preferred these characteristics, that is the honest, forward-looking, competent, inspiring, intelligent, fair-minded, broad-minded, supportive, straightforward, dependable, cooperative, determined, and imaginative, ambitious, and courageous, and caring also, and also mature, loyal, self-controlled, and also independent. Students, these are the participation inventory system given by Cousy and Posner in their survey. And 5 actions that Cousy and Posner identified as being key for successful leadership are the model the way. Modeling means going first, living the behavior you want others to adopt. This is leading from the front actually. People will believe not what they hear leaders say, but what they see leaders constantly do. And friends, another thing is that people are motivated. That is it is about the inspire a shared vision. People are motivated most not by fear or reward, but by ideas that capture their imaginations. Note one thing, that is not so much about having a vision, but communicating it so effectively that others take it at their own. And friends, leaders thrive on and learn from adversity and difficult situations. They are early adopters of innovations. That is, friends, this is the challenge. They challenge the process and enable others to act. Encouragement and exhortation, students, is not enough. People who are working in organizations, they must feel able to act and then must have the ability to put their ideas into action. And last thing, friends, is the people's act. It is best when they are passionate about what they are doing. Leaders unleash the enthusiasm of followers, this with stories and passion, with a passion of their own. It means that it is about the encouraging the hearts of people. It is about the causes and postures leadership participation in inventory control system. Yes, friends. Now, in conclusion, I want to tell you a few things which are going to be very important for this discussion when we are concluding about the leadership. If you are unhappy with the situation, what you should do? You should try to change it by altering the externals, that is the outside in, and change the way that you see it, that you behave within it, that is the inside out. Inside out requires you to start with yourself and particularly your character, your belief, your values. Friends, if you want to be trusted, show that you are trustworthy. It is about the leaders. If the leaders wants to be trusted, that they must show that they are trustworthy. If they want more responsibility, they should show that they are capable and can be trusted to accept the responsibility. If it cannot be positive, then at least be quiet about it. Friends, if you want to increase the power position at work, we must see that the leaders must be authentic, which means that they should stay true to their ethics and values. They should refuse to be antagonized, which means that they should make an effort to get along with others and resolve the conflicts which may come up in the organizations. The leaders have to have the courage to take difficult tasks and help others and contribute by way of developing the self-esteem and confidence. And they have to work as a team player where they have to get along with and helping others portrays leadership, respect, and the good citizen. And students, they should think about the developing of the organizational or communicational skills. They should work on their written, oral, and non-verbal body language abilities, as well as the reading and clearly understanding others' body language. And students, if they want to increase their power position at work, they should focus on personal and professional goal setting within realistic milestone. Then they will be goal oriented. And friends, one more thing, which I want to tell you, that they have to be seen in the workplace. Leaders should not take credit for others' work, but they do take it from their own work. They should take it on high profile projects to improve their presence. And I tell you that the hope, optimism, positive outlook, self-efficacy, resilience, that they have to understand their difficult situations, all should be there in the form of the positive psychological capital in the leaders if they want to attain a position at work. And also, students, if leaders have time to complain about something, then definitely they have time to do something about it. So they should stop complaining and they can find out how best they can serve the organization. So students, they have to put their people first. If they don't take the time to support their subordinates, they don't ensure their needs are being met, all their work will be useless and it will not carry any weightage. Effective managers understand that no good ever comes out of the autonomy without accountability. So they have to be a credible manager of the organization. And students, leaders have to be includer also. You know what is meant by includer? They have to keep their employees within the loop Together we can make a difference, should be the approach of the leadership. They should not treat them as mindless machines that are used only to get the job done. They should be handled with care and concern. And it will increase their motivation to work. And if a leader is discriminating, it means he is not a good leader. Being a good manager, a leader should understand and should never discriminate among his team members, because if he is showing discrimination, it means he is discouraging others to work and support them. One more thing, student, that I want to tell you before I conclude, that a leader has to be calm and dignified. He has to be polite with others. He should not be rude with others. He should not be harsh with others. And he should not use those words which hurt others. If he's hurting others, means that others are being dejected, will be losing interest in the work. As a leader, one has to be a mentor. Rather than shouting on others who are not good as you are, on that job, try to make them learn. If a leader is simply shouting at others because they are not working as per his expectations, why not he should teach them? He should force them to learn from him. Your team leaders should think that their team members will pay high regards to them if they are supporting them, if they are coming forward to them and taking full care of them. And students, last minute task should be avoided in organizations if one has to be a good leader who is going to assume importance and position at the place of work. Because I want to tell you one thing here, that no one likes to work. No one wants to start a task at the end of the day, especially when he has other plans for the evening. So leaders should not throw work at their subordinates or their employees just as they are about to call it a day. And students, with this I thank you, and I hope the entire concept of the leadership you might have understood. We have tried our level best to take into consideration all aspects, theoretical and practical, about the leading in the business organizations. Thank you very much.